So hey guys, new event drops soon, and the ban list is kind of hard to look for, but I did notice, of course, that DD only had one specific hit as far as I can tell, being DDD, Flame King Genghis. So DDD has a decent matchup against Labyrinth. First off, Labyrinth is a trap deck, meaning that you will always be able to utilize Flame High King Genghis's effect to negate a spell trap activated on your turn, because, well, yeah, you can, right? And then you have DDD Curse King Siegfried, which is also a spell trap negate. So you have two spell trap negates already built into the deck, and then of course you have DD Orthros, which you can use to of course, destroy a spell trap card. Well, I mean, this is a little wackier because if you manage to target like Big Welcome or Welcome, they can chain to Orthros' pop effect, which is not necessarily the best for you, but still, the matchup should be in your favor as the DDD player. So actually, let's put Orthros to 3 here. So this is one of the viable decks, I suppose. So let's real quick check what Labyrinth has. If I could spell Labyrinth. There we go. So let's see what's legal here. Seems like there are 0 hits to Labyrinth, which is just like, alright, I guess. Whatever. So Labyrinth has no hits. DDD has 1, being Flame King Genghis. And then we have a few other viable decks, and it looks like most things didn't get hit. So, like, Dark Lords, I believe, did not receive any hits either. But it's kind of hard to tell because we can't see what's banned or not, right? Yeah, okay, so Baldagian, the Dark Dragon Lord. Well, I mean, that makes sense enough. Alright, let's see. So, in this event, we're only allowed Fiend and Fairy monsters, so Dark Lord, of course, is a pretty good option. Silva is just banned by default, of course, so it looks like Dark World is completely legal with no hits, and this is probably one of the more interesting, like, events in the sense that we don't have, like, as much stuff, like, banned outside of, like, the, normal festival parameters, I guess. The only hit I've, noticed is actually just, Flame King Genghis, for some reason, has been hit. So maybe that just means we have to maybe play Lilith or something, but I don't think we have a good option, right? Or is it Baphomet that we want to play? Hold up, let me see. Lilith? No, not Lilith. It is Baphomet that we might want to consider playing. Right? Baphomet has the effect to change a level, and that'll allow us to make Wave High King Caesar, which is kind of annoying, but you need another 6 for it, I suppose. Let me real quick check what 6s there are here. There is DD Dog, Proud Ogre, Nicola, does this do anything? No, not really. Dog. You can target one fusion synchro XYZ monster your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of this turn, then destroy this card. That's actually not an entirely bad effect. Proud Ogre. Proud Ogre actually, that's only on normal summon, so that does nothing. Maybe Baphomet is the play, like one of Baphomet, but I don't know how I would get Baphomet anywhere, right? Actually, we can Foolish Baphomet, I think. So I will just play like one of Berfament, I guess. Oops. I forgot Berfament's not actually a level 6. Whoopsies. Alright. So I got distracted for a second there. Let's just save this for now. So one of the other interesting things about this event is that a lot of hand traps actually are not fiends or fairies. So you just simply won't be able to play Ash Blossom and Joy Spring or Maxi. So some people really hate Maxi, so this is one of the events where we won't be seeing Maxi. So I guess you can rejoice in that at least. So I don't know if Called by the Grave is super worth playing or not, since a lot of the hand traps that are commonly played are banned. Like all of the I believe yokai girls are banned because they don't have any fairy or fiend versions. And then Droll and Lockbird, Effect Veiler is a spellcaster actually, I believe, right? Yeah. So Effect Veiler's banned. And like a lot of hand traps in general are banned. So the most prominent hand trap we'll probably be seeing, I believe, will be Infinite Impermanence. And then copies of something like maybe a Forbidden Droplet, maybe. So let's start by, well, while we're here, actually, let's just throw in a copy of Dark Contract with Eternal Darkness. I think it is still worth considering that Lava Golem is still legal, and Radiant is also legal as well. But moving on from this, the most viable decks I think would be like Despia. Despia is still fairly viable, and a lot of people are likely to have Despia, and it'll just be some Masquerade burn, I believe, because Masquerade is a fiend, and then all of your Despia monsters are fairies. So this is definitely worth consideration. You still lose out on some things, but in general you're doing okay. And for Super Poly is good in mirrors, so this is not completely out of the equation. So if you, for example, let's say DDD is very, very popular. Let's just assume that, alright? And everyone is playing DDD for the event. You can easily Super Poly to make like Flame King Genghis or Flame High King Genghis, for example, and this is not respondable. So that's very strong. Or let's say Despia is very popular. Same thing pretty much applies. So then there's also, I guess while we're here, Evenly Matched is going to be going pretty hard, so I guess I'll just slot in 3 copies now. And then I guess we'll remove Called By, because the only target for Called By is Skullmeister. Skullmeister might see some play, but Skullmeister is not even like that super good. I think against Pure Dark World, this should be enough to stop Pure Dark World, but not like anything else really. I don't think enough stuff activates in the graveyard to like justify playing Skullmeister, but there might be justification to play like Chaos Hunter. Chaos Hunter still not necessarily the best. It's not a good option into, for example, Labyrinth, which has recently gotten support, which people will likely be playing. So continuing on, let's see. I just remembered I forgot to put in a card, so one memento. Alright. Throw in my Kali Yuga. Nice. And then let's see. Another deck I believe that might see some play. There is potential that some people will actually just play this. So Drytron is obviously banned, right? But Herald does not. Herald of Ultimateness, I believe, is completely legal, as it is like a fairy based deck. So This can potentially see some play. This is pretty obnoxious, of course. And this can be played alongside Cyber Angels, I believe, to try to get out the Heralds of Ultimate in this. And of course, Cyber Angel Benton can search it as well. So, not something I would super look forward to facing, but there's potential that some people will play this. There's also the Weather Painters. Weather Painters is a fairy deck, so of course. And let's see. Is Macrocosmos legal? Yeah. So, that's legal, but no Dimension Shifter, which is swell, I suppose. So, Weather Painters hitting you with like Di-Fi Macro, something I can totally see happening. And let's see. What other fairy lists do we have here? So there's Dark World, there's Weather Painters, Dark Lord, Despia. Despia Dark Lord actually is also a thing, I suppose. Time Lords. So if we think about it, Time Lords is supposedly pretty budget. So you can expect to see like occasional Time Lord because it is a fairly budget-friendly deck. So you might want some non-destruction removal or some like monster negates. Like, we're not talking like the response kind, like just the kind that can like negate a card. If your deck can feasibly do that, then definitely worth consideration to run that. Just some sort of removal for Time Lords as well, and of course back row removal is going to be pretty valuable during this festival event. And if it gets really bad, Red Reboot is still an option as well. Not really interested in being floodgated out, you know? So, actually, let me think about it. Is there a way for me to break a board super easily? And Kali Yuga helps, I suppose, but it's like not like the end all be all, I guess. I guess I believe aren't the Fabled some of them fiends, I guess. Not all of the Fabled cards are legal. They're also beasts. So Fable not gonna be seeing that too much. Dark World, maybe you won't see as much Dark World because Dark World by itself is definitely playable now, which it wasn't before, but it is considerably better with dangers. Like, it is not even a contest, not even remotely a close contest. And some, like, archetypes are somewhat hurt by the fact that we are locked into fiends and fairies because we lose, like, generic options that we could have went to before. Dark World is one of those decks, honestly. You can't go into Saryuja, you don't have Apollosa, you don't have Hope Harbinger, you don't have the Zombie Vampire. And just losing all those somewhat hurts the deck, but, I mean, Grapha, Dragon, Overlord of Dark World is still fairly strong, so Dark World probably not the worst deck. It's definitely not the best in this event, though, I suppose, because of this. So then, let's see. What else do we have? Let's check Fiend. Of course, with Fiend, we also have, like, Infernity, I believe, and then there's a few more. Burning Abyss is Fiends and Fairies, I believe. Muckraker is here. Might put in one of Muckraker. Worth consideration. We'll just leave that there. We have Abyss Actors. We have, let's see, what else? It might be faster if we go by SR. Yeah. Infernity. Grebo. Oh yeah, this is a Fiend, but the rest are Psychic. Plunder Patrol, they are also fiends. Then we have, let's see. Oh, Santa Claus is legal. If you really need that extra like sort of kaiju, maybe you play Santa Claus then, I guess. Eater of Millions. That's a fiend. I don't know if you really want to be playing that. And then let's see, Baguska is a fiend. And Dugaris is a fiend. These are probably usable in a lot of decks. Lava Golem, as mentioned before, is a fiend. And Gores is a fiend, I guess. But I mean, are you really going to play Gores? Unchained. And then Token Collector is a fiend, so I don't think that's super relevant, but it's here, I guess. And then I don't think Fluffle is playable. And I don't think Viper is playable either, right? Sacred Beasts, I don't remember how many of them are fiends. Yeah, not enough. Okay. Lair can be like somewhat playable. Not bad. Wait, what? Majesty Fiend is legal? Excuse me, what the fuck? Well, alright, I guess. I'll just pretend I didn't see that. So we have all these Fiend decks. They're totally playable, totally legal, I guess. Generator is not really playable. Lofter's the only fairy. And then we have, let's see. Verna Self is all fairies, so that's playable. I have no idea what this card even is. Petitial Covert Tour. If you have no cards in your other Pendulum Zone, you can place one face-up Pendulum monster from your extra deck in your Pendulum Zone. You can only use this effect of Petitial Coverte once per turn. This requires 2 Pendulum monsters. If this card in the Monster Zone is destroyed, you can place this card in your Pendulum Zone. I guess it's supposed to maybe combo with Electromite. That would be the assumption, right? Like, pop this with Electromite. I don't know how you made this, but you pop this with Electromite. And then you would have maybe no other card in your Pendulum Zone. And then you can place whatever you put in your extra deck, I guess. Maybe, something like that. Let's see. Valkyrie. I don't think people would play Valkyrie, honestly. And then we have Agents. Agents is playable. We still have some artifacts. Scythe is banned specifically, though. We have Dark Lord, as mentioned before. Then let's see. Madolche is also playable. We have the exchange of spirit cards, the Shizu cards. The hell's the light law medium? Well, whatever. Trickstar is legal. Eva is at 3, I guess. Along with 2 Ben 10. I don't have a good feeling about these two. Drytron, makes me a bit nervous. Are there no SR Weather Painters, or did I miss them? Well, any case, these are like some of the decks you should expect to face, I guess. Then let's see. For like hand traps, I don't think you have to worry about that many hand traps. It's mostly going to probably be board breakers and like evenly, stuff like that you should worry about. So once again, Prohibition, because of the limited like generic pool, Prohibition is once again really worth considering. Evenly matched, for example, if your Fiend combo or whatever isn't like DD, so you can't end on like all of the negates you might want, and you obviously like don't want to negate evenly matched if you don't have to. So you can just Prohibition call evenly, and sometimes you might not have like enough negates if your opponent is running 3 evenly. If they open 2 evenly, they can of course just drop 2 evenly on you, and then you just can't play. In that case, Prohibition might just be enough and get the job done. Hmm. Speaking of which, now that I think about it, is there a... I don't think there's a rank 7 DD, is there? That happens to be dark? I'm assuming no. Because then maybe the rank up would be worth considering. But anyways, let's see. Forbidden Droplet, definitely worth considering. And because of what is actually legal, you would wish Nibiru was playable, but that's a rock, I guess. So you don't have to play around Nibiru, actually, which is kind of nice in its own way. So I think the two, like, strongest decks for this event might be, like, DD and Labyrinth. Labyrinth being pretty disgusting. I don't know what traps are limited, so I will check real quickly. Let's go. Well, actually, I do know. There are no, like, traps that are limited, per se, I believe, for this event specifically. So let's actually just remove this, I think. This might be faster. So, let's see. The virus cards are actually banned. So, Deck Devastation, Eradicator, Summon Limits banned, Rivalry is at 1. I mean, yeah, Rivalry is pretty useless for this event, actually. That's fine. Appointer of the Red Lotus is actually banned, interestingly enough. Trickstar Reincarnation is at 1. Skill Drain is banned, Gozen is banned, and There Can Be Only One is banned as well. Anti-Spell Fragrance is also banned. Just Desserts is banned. Ojama Trio and Duo, you could just assume are banned. And wait, now that I think about it, if you can flood your opponent's field with monsters, there's not much they can do about it. Conquistador of the Golden Land should be banned because technically this is a zombie monster. I'm assuming Zombie World is likely banned, or not banned. It's actually kind of dicey knowing that Conquistador is not banned. But I'm not noticing that many hits, actually. I don't even know what this card is. Blooming of the Darkest Rose. Why is this banned? Special summon Rose tokens in defense position to either field up to the combined number of cards in the field zones and field spells in the graveyards. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target one Black Rose Drain or one Plant Monster in your monster zone, bash it, and if you do place this card on the bottom of the deck during your next standby phase, turn that banished monster to the field. You can use this effect of Blooming of the Darkest Rose once per turn. There must be a weird reason why that's banned, honestly. Relay Soul. This is banned, I guess. Branded Expulsion. Okay. Yeah. I'm not seeing lose one turn in here, though, which is just a little bit concerning. But I mean, in general, they hit the same floodgates as usual. And there's one of Dogmatica Punishment, which of course Nittis is fairy. So I guess that makes sense. Extinction on schedule. I guess they really don't want like self TK. Alright. Dynamite is completely banned as well, though. Huh. Okay, I guess. And actually, they don't want you playing Phantasm Spiral. Didn't quite notice that, but I guess enough is enough. No more Phantasm Spiral. We're playing Fiends and Fairies, fellas. So, let's check. Is Zombie World legal? Might as well. No, right? Yeah. As expected. Zombie World is indeed not legal. So, let's see. In terms of Fiend decks, I think just because I don't know how like consistent you can make it, Herald could be an issue, and you might actually have to run stuff like Forbidden Droplet as well. So, Forbidden Droplet, Kaijus, you might want to run those if Herald actually becomes an issue. But I don't think everyone will still have like those Herald cards. Probably. So might not be the top concern. So probably should play against Labyrinth a lot during this event. So Prohibition is not bad for that as well. So let's real quick look at Labyrinth and see which card is the most powerful card. So the one we should activate Prohibition and declare. So Big Welcome special summons a Labyrinth monster from either your hand, deck, or graveyard. Welcome Labyrinth special summons one Labyrinth monster from your deck. And this locks you into Fiends, which doesn't matter. If a monster leaves the field by your normal trap effect while this card is in your graveyard, except the turn it was sent there, you inset this card. Okay. That doesn't seem like super insane. So special summon one Labyrinth monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard, then return one monster you control to the hand. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one Fiend monster you control, or if you control level 8 or higher Fiend monster, you can target one card your opponent controls instead. Return that card to the hand. Yeah, you can only... This is hard once per turn. And you can only use one effect per turn, and only once that turn. Okay. And then this one... You can only use each effect of Welcome Labyrinth once per turn. Okay. Labyrinth Barrage, probably not an issue. Labyrinth. Yeah, that's probably okay, honestly. If you activate a set Welcome Labyrinth, normal trap, it gets this additional effect, so Big Welcome does not get this effect. So I believe the best Prohibition target is going to be Big Welcome. If you do Big Welcome, it's probably better than Welcome. It's probably between one of these two. One of these two are the only ways that your opponent might get into Lovely Labyrinth. And that is a pretty big deal. And Lady Labyrinth of the Silver Castle, I think this can still be special summoned from the hand and whatnot, but it's not as big of a deal as Lovely Labyrinth. This is how they will pop your cards and get more mileage for the cards. They'll start resetting their cards. And I think this is just more impactful to like one of these two, I think. Lovely Labyrinth, either Prohibition declare Lovely Labyrinth, or Big Welcome Labyrinth. Well, whichever one you decide to declare Prohibition on, you're probably doing better, I would say. And it's not like super free for Labyrinth players, because I don't think they actually have that much back row removal. They have Labyrinth, and then Lovely Labyrinth. So if you declare something annoying for them with Prohibition, definitely the game should be in your favor. So triple tactics, I think. If you want to use triple tack, expecting your opponent to hand trap you, so going first, triple tactic loses a lot of value. So triple tactic, I think, for this event, kind of maybe not the play, but Prohibition declare like infinite impermanence is probably pretty huge if you want to set up like a strong board. Or declare evenly matched with Prohibition so that you don't get board wiped and you don't have to waste negates on evenly matched. I think Prohibition is probably super high value, no matter how I look at it. But if you want to do like specifically targeted using Prohibition to target something important for your opponent, that can also be fairly strong. Like, for example, against Dark Lord, you can declare Morning Star or the first Dark Lord, which is very impactful. For DD, you can declare DDD Abyss King Gilgamesh, which is fairly impactful as well. Against Weather Painter, I believe declaring their field spell might be a pretty good play. Or Weather Painter Rainbow. It's between one of those two. So Prohibition, of course, requires some card knowledge to know like what's the best thing to declare. but not so much nowadays. Nowadays, you can actually access the related cards thing, like, on your opponent. So let's say you see them normal summon Kepler, so you get the information they're playing DD. You can do related cards on Kepler in the middle of the game, and then, like, look through the related cards to find out what you should declare for Prohibition kind of thing. But, like, that's more niche because you're still going second into them, and then you're declaring Prohibition. But if you were to, like, blind declare Prohibition, I guess it's a little harder. So you'd have to chance what you're declaring if you're declaring, like, a specific card in their deck, like, for example, Big Welcome. So generally, it's safer to, of course, like, declare infinite impermanence or evenly matched, which is still a very valuable thing to know. 100% certainty you shouldn't be getting hit by evenly matched or infinite impermanence. That is pretty huge. And of course, you can use triggers to help you out with this stuff as well. So, of course, with infinite impermanence against DDD, the biggest target that for imperm will be Abyss King Gilgamesh. So if you go ahead and normal summon, for example, I don't know, Copernicus, your opponent might not respond with, like, imperm. But if you see they have a trigger and they're not a toggle Andy, then you can, of course, activate Prohibition after resolving your Copernicus, declaring infinite impermanence. And then, let's say you special summon Griffin, and then they genuinely have no response after that. You can know for, like, absolute certain that they have, like, a card that's completely dead in their hand, being infinite impermanence. So with that knowledge, you're doing significantly better than your opponent. So that's kind of how you would use Prohibition in this event. Like, well, against imperm, I guess, specifically. If there's no response, you can just, of course, declare, like, a going second card, like evenly matched for Bin Triplet, or just blind call, like, I don't know, Lovely Labyrinth, Big Welcome. So overall, pretty big value there. And of course, let's, real quickly, let's save this. Okay. And then let's go ahead and look at the loners. So, for the loners, we have Cyber Angel. And they're playing Herald of Perfection. So this list is honestly probably not the optimal way to go about getting Herald of Perfection or Ultimateness, or whichever one you want. But yeah, pretty obnoxious in general. Machine, Angel, Ritual, yeah. I'd copy this, but I don't really want to. I can't get sample hands on this unless I copy it, though. So then we have Labyrinth Loner. For some reason, there's Storming Mirror Force. So I guess you should technically play around this, if you can. And actually, I didn't check. Does this have an extra deck? Oh yeah, it does. Okay. Apollosa. Oh wait, Apollosa is a fairy, so you do still have Apollosa for Dark World. Nice, but you still lose yugioh, which sucks. Okay, so actually, I don't even know if you can go into Apollosa anymore. Huh. Well, whatever. So you have Ghastly Glitch, Big Welcome, Welcome, and copy of Labyrinth. This list is actually not that bad. It's, like, okay. Unchained stuff. Nightmare Unicorn. Whatever. And then for the final one, we have Pfeiffer. Huh. Wait, these are more of these are fairy and fiends than I thought. Wait, Fluffle Penguin's a fairy? Oh, so I guess Fluffle and Pfeiffer is playable. Whatever. Like, Pfeiffer, Fluffle. So, they actually are playable. And this loner looks not bad, honestly. They're starting to give us, like, ratios for decks that actually somewhat make sense. One of Duster, and this one doesn't have Raigeki or whatever. This one doesn't have Duster. So the issue with this list specifically is, like, the lack of backer removal, so Yeah, that doesn't look super fun to deal with. In case you're getting like floodgated or something. I guess Prohibition could be kind of like a floodgate. Prohibition being at 3, I believe, still, right? Prohibition is generally never hit, right, for these events. Worth checking. Yup. Prohibition still going strong. Well, anyways, that's all I've got for you guys today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.